What's up everyone, MK Tom Brady here. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Sub-Zero combo that broke the internet yesterday. So this combo is one that uses the Sub-Zero Cyrax combination, and it's one that the Sub-Zero community has known about for quite a long time. Actually, we've known about it since the second day of the game's pre-launch. And this is something that was linked in my chat day 2 of the pre-launch, and we've all known about it in the Sub-Zero community. However, yesterday the internet got a hold of it, and it had comments basically, being, people clipping it and commenting saying that, Sub-Zero players just didn't feel like exploring the necessary combo routes, and that he's actually... Now this shows that he's an amazing character that everybody should be picking up. And a couple of things here. For one, we've known about this since the game was launched pretty much. And this requires all 3 bars and both cameos. So to basically, for something to come to light that makes a character now all of a sudden like secretly from needing help to super top, it has to be something that's practical. Saying, well, if you're in the corner and you use 3 bars and you use 2 cameos, you get this. And people say, well, look, Sub-Zero's out here doing 55% damage to people. How is he not really good? When you're saying someone's out here doing 55% damage, you make it seem like it's a practical route, and this is not really the case. So for it to be considered disingenuous for a Sub-Zero player to say he needs a little bit of help, it's also equally as disingenuous for someone to take a scenario like that and say, oh, well, this shows now that he's really, really good. Everybody should play him. But it's okay to be disingenuous for Sub-Zero in the forward direction because he has an ice clone, so it's allowed. So what does Cyrax give you that's practical? That's the real question here. Well, we all know that Ice Ball doesn't really keep you frozen for super long. And it has, if you lose a bad trade, you're not going to be able to recover in time from a bad trade to get all the way over in combo. You have to slide. Well, Cyrax gives you an option to throw out besides Ice Ball, and this is going to capture them for a considerable amount of time. So you do have that, the same stuff that everyone else gains access to, obviously. And his forward throw, which can be amplified for 2 bars for a launcher. Again, this is stuff that everyone has access to, but keep in mind if you're using Cyrax for full screen nets like this, you're not going to have them in the event you get them cornered. Especially if they block the net, then you get nothing off of it and you spent the cameo. And if you use the forward grab, you need all 3 bars for this godlike corner scenario, so you're not going to have the bars when you get them there. He also gives you access to meterless damage in the, you do forward 1-2, you call Cyrax right as you're doing the move, and if it hits, you go ahead and Ice Ball. This combo, if you do the right combo route, does at or near 30%. And if they block Cyrax, you get pressure situations or you get a safer clone cancel because they're still in recovery from this. So these are some of the options that Cyrax gives. He also gives you the self-destruct stuff. And these are things that I've been looking for self-destruct scenarios since the launch of the game. He was actually the first cameo that I picked up for Sub-Zero, and I was looking for any scenario which I could get a situation, set up self-destruct, and it wasn't even with clone because by the time I recover, the clone is gone, and then they can move forward and get away from the self-destruct situation. Cyrax also gives you the ability to do certain things like certain knockdowns, and call Cyrax, and then go into pressure. There's really not much they can do about that. And that's pretty much where Cyrax's practical uses come from. The corner combo is not a practical use at all. It's something that will rarely come into play. Certainly not something that catapults Sub-Zero because damage was never Sub-Zero's problem. In all my videos, you don't really hear me talking about damage because his damage is okay. It's just not okay for everything else they did to him and then the damage. And if you really want damage with Sub-Zero, practical damage, you would use the Sareena cameo. And this is so much more practical than Cyrax. And I want to show you guys this because if you guys are looking for bigger damage, Sareena gives you a couple of things. For one, she gives you very good meterless damage here. So you can do something like this. You're going to stand 4, call Sareena. Then if you want to reverse positions, you get the jump over. And then the slide. You get 41% open space, completely meterless. And in the corner, you get a little more than this. And if you want to use the Cyrax situation where you're going to spend the 3 bars, you can still do at or near 50. I think 48 or something like that, 49. So you still have the option to spend 3 bars to get bigger damage. So you can still do the 3-bar 2 cameo scenario in the corner. Sareena also gives you, so instead of, obviously you have these scenarios where you're moving around, you're trying to catch them moving and you hit them with Sareena and then you can combo them. Sareena also, unlike Cyrax, where you have to just throw the cameo out and hope for the best from range, instead of Ice Ball, Sub-Zero can use his Ice Ball, and if he gets a bad trade, for example, where you normally have to slide, like say it knocks you down, then you call Sareena and full combo. Whoops, I messed it there. But yeah, then you would basically call Sareena and full combo. And so Sareena gives you don't have to call her aimlessly from full screen. You can still use Ice Ball in those situations. So Sareena gives you those just better combo routes, better meterless damage, etc. Still corner stuff for the 3 bars if you want to go the 3 bars and 2 cameos. She gives you all of that. But she also gives you something that Cyrax especially does not. And like I said, listen, the damage is not where Sub-Zero's problem is. However, what people are doing is none of these tactics here is what separates the Sub-Zero Sareena cameo from anything. It's they are using back 2 into Sareena or back 3 into Sareena. Now, anyone who has played this combination in Combat League knows this is the staple tactic of Sub-Zero. You get a safer back 2, so to speak, right? Because you can do this into Sareena, and then the most they're going to do is, go under the second set of knives with like a down 3. I think some characters like Sub-Zero can slide himself, Johnny Cage can nut punch, but you're really of no risk for a full combo because the knives that are coming back on the recall to Sareena. So you might lose a little bit more than a down 3 in most cases, but 99.9, that's all you're going to eat is a down 1 or a down 3, making it, hey, a very good, safe back 2 that leads to tremendous damage, and a back 3 that, also leads to really big damage meterlessly. And anyone who has ever played this combination online understands that if you are telling me that you have not been robbed in these scenarios, or stand blocking and be waiting for the back 3 and get hit by this, for the back 2 I should say, you're not really being honest here, because I think anyone who's ever fought this combination has been opened up by back 2 in a Sareena or back 3 in a Sareena. And this leads people to say, he's got mix, he's got this. And I'm not going to go over this again because I kind of want to end the video here. I have 1,000 scenarios where I have tried many times to open up with back 2 and back 3, and I can see it every single time. And even online, I block it like 90% of the time, and I'm old. So if you get a good connection, you'll block it almost every time on reaction. And if you are off the internet, you will block it 100% of the time. So this staple tactic that is being used for Sub-Zero is nothing more than fool's gold powered by the internet. And that's just the honest to God truth. And so when I talk about like what's good with Sub-Zero, he doesn't need more damage. The damage is only more noticeable because of everything else. The real truth is, and this is what I've talked about, if Sub-Zero, if they went back to the beta clone cooldown, where instead of near 4 seconds, it was just near 3, so 2.5 instead of 3.5 of a cooldown, allow him to jab without a gap in between the first and second hit of 2-1 and 1-2. And this weird string right here that's full combo punishable on block, it still has a gap. Well, they can keep the gap to armor, but at least make it like -6, so he gives up his turn. It doesn't do tremendous damage. Nothing like that. And I also suggested possibly a little better cancel advantage on block. Just a little bit better. None of these things would break Sub-Zero and put him over the top. But the real truth is most of the people riot when you hear these because the real truth is they don't want to deal with this move. That is the honest to God truth. Even though if they did everything I said, you would... Oh, and one more thing. This should just be 1 bar. I don't even know why. I don't even know why that's 2 bars. So you people just don't want to deal with that move. They don't want to deal with it. They want it gone. They don't want to deal with it. They want it... and that's really the real truth. That's why people are fighting so hard to keep him just as he is. And, you know, I watched a very good Rico guide by, or Ryko, whatever they call him now, by Rewind. And it was so great and so in-depth, and you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. Sub-Zero doesn't have any of that. Any of that. What do you get? You know, oh, just run away and do this all day. That's what, these are what the Sub-Zero things say. Oh, run away, do this. That's all you have to do. And clone when people do anti. Clone is for anti-air only, I've heard somebody say. And while the rest of the cast is... I mean, Sub-Zero can already jab you out of the air with 2, with 1, with down 2, with certain cameos. Why does he need a clone to anti-air you? Everybody else can anti-air just fine without a clone, so can Sub-Zero. You know, what's the purpose of the clone if it's only for anti-air? People come up with all these weird reasons why he's fine the way he is and nothing should be changed. And if anything, people are literally willing to just give him back more damage before they address this, right? Because they say people will want him to have everything on the planet before they make one small change to this move here, which is just going back to the old cooldown. And it just shows you what their real agenda is. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. As always, you know, thanks for watching. Let me know, do you think this Cyrax situation makes him super top tier? I mean, am I crazy here? Let me know. Always interested to hear what you guys say. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay tuned for more content.